Hamilton, we're on about video 4. Are we even at 15 yet? I'm going to have to check this. We're on video 14 of 46, which is not that many. I've not done that many in 2 years. 2 years? That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Right, let's just do it. Stay alive. Hello wonderful humans of the internet, how are we? My name is Sam Scott-Thorne and I am a vocal coach based in Glasgow. Now if you'd like to meet and explore your voice a little more, you can find me on sstvocals.com. You can also find me on Patreon and various other social media platforms, and I'll put the handles down below and over there. That's about as much as my cold-ridden voice can push out. There. Now if you'd like to consider becoming a patron, you have access to things like early release of reactions, you can fast track reactions, become a reaction, there's special roles on my Discord server, and you have access to all sorts of bonus content like my Vocal Anatomy 101 series where you learn how the voice works. So consider becoming a patron and help shape my channel. Right, as said, we are just trucking along Hamilton. We're on track 14, which is Stay Alive. I've managed to find a cast recording of it, so let's just go and listen. Let's go. That was really nice. So what's happening there is they're starting off on a thinner vocal fold phonation type. So the air's kind of hitting the vocal folds like this and they're vibrating there, and then they're thickening up. So as they kind of go, ah, they start to get this part closure, if you like, on the vocal fold, which is a thick phonation type. So head to chest, if you like, or thin to thick. But it's the way that the vocal folds are behaving that's facilitating that sound. It just creates more harmonics, it's a bigger sound, it's louder, and it's really, really smooth. The way that they blended that in with harmony and then they added in vibrato as well, just stunning.
I have never seen the general so despondent. I have taken over writing all his correspondence. Congress writes, George attacked the British forces. I shoot back, we have resorted to eating our horses. Local merchants deny us equipment, assistance. They only take British money, so sing a song of 6 pence.
Cavalry's not coming.
But sir,
Alex, listen. There's only one way for us to win this.
Now, have I met this character before? It has been so long since I watched any of the others. I'm going to have to go back and watch. But the difference between their voices is just insane. So Hamilton's voice, light, kind of creaky, like there's a lot of emotional kind of cry in that voice. Kind of that kind of sound. I'm so good at talking today. And his whole performance is kind of rolled through with that sound. It makes you feel for him, right? It gives you the focus on his character because his voice is the one that's pushing the emotion through. Then you have this other character that comes in and is like, Hamilton is really deep, low larynx, nice and buttery sounding, very authoritative. Your focus doesn't go to like, how is this character feeling? You know that he's there to add in a little bit of context and keep the show kind of pushing along. It's Hamilton that is giving the emotion to keep you invested, if that makes sense. So the way their voices are really containing the whole story, I could tell without even hearing the lyrics that one is the one we're supposed to be really focusing on, and the other one is like a plot point, if you like.
Provoke outrage. Outright.
that's right.
Don't engage. Strike by night. Remain relentless till their troops take flight.
Make it impossible to justify the cost of the fight.
Outrun. Outlast.
Now, here, we're actually getting some emotion from the other guy now. So it's easing and balancing those two characters so that they can have a moment together. You can hear he's adding a lot more air. He's bringing his pitch up a little bit and the larynx is raising a tiny wee bit in order to give that more speech kind of level sound. Before it was down here, it was very, very stoic sounding. Now we're kind of up here and we're like, we're getting those exasperated pushes on breath. And it just, yeah, I'm loving it.
Hit 'em quick, get out fast, and stay alive until this horror show is past. We're gonna fly a lot of flags half-mast.
Raise a glass.
I go back to New York in my apprenticeship.
I ask for French aid. I pray that France has sent a ship.
I stay at work with Hamilton. We write essays against slavery, and every day's a test of our camaraderie and bravery. So we come.
Now, I have done a video on the three of these guys already, I think. Back a few. The one with a really deep, rich voice, I absolutely adore his voice. Just so smoky and smooth. It's soft while at the same time being very, very pronounced and very pushed. I absolutely love it. The French character, he has got his entire tone up in his nose to give that kind of that pushed velum based kind of sound. Your velum is your soft palate, and as it moves it facilitates a nasal sound, a nasalized sound, or a completely oral sound. All comes from this little sheet of flesh here. Ugh, sheet of flesh, that's disgusting. Let's forget I said sheet of flesh and I've just said it again. But moving on. And then the one that Hamilton was just talking to there, very, very colloquial sound. He's got a bit of rasp to his voice. He sounds like he's got a very main character kind of sounding voice. There's a lot of intent behind his voice. It's a brighter sound as well, so you do feel like you're on a level with him, and just, yeah, lovely.
Supply lines, we steal contraband. We pick and choose our battles and places to take a stand. And every day, sir, entrust me with a command. And every day, no, he dismisses me out of hand.
His voice is so childlike when he needs it to be. It's all up here. It's really twangy. I think there's a lot of oral twang coming into play. That's the epiglottis that creates that sound. It kind of shuts over the vocal folds but not completely, creating a condensed airflow, which makes that kind of sound, which kind of comes across as super loud because of the frequency that it makes, or the frequency that it sits within. But he doesn't always use it. He kind of applies it when he needs to, and it's usually just these little jabs in his vocal. Very good.
Instead of me, he promotes Charles Lee, makes him second in command.
I'm a general.
Yeah, he's not the choice I would have gone with. He shits the bed at the Battle of Monmouth.
Everyone attack! Attack! What are you doing, Lee? Get back on your feet!
Oh, that get back! Gorgeous. I think that's the guy with the deep voice, but I don't know. This other guy with the really large teeth, I don't think we've met him before. Might have. He has got a really strong mid-range sound. Very, very belty and very sustained. Very good, healthy sound as well.
I'm sorry, is this not your speed? Hamilton,
Ready, sir?
have Lafayette take the lead!
1,000 soldiers die in 100-degree heat as we snatch our stalemates from the jaws of defeat.
Charles Lee was left behind without a pot to piss in. He started saying this to anybody who would listen.
Washington cannot be left alone to his devices. Indecisive from crisis to crisis. The best thing he could do for the revolution is turn and go back to planting tobacco in Mount Vernon.
Ooh, now what he did there was he let his breath go past the point of comfort. Your lungs don't completely empty when you breathe out, right? They kind of settle somewhere where your rib cage and your lungs pressure matches, and then they want to fill up again. But you can go past that point and kind of get into this territory where you get a little bit more strain out of your voice. He did that really, really well. It gives this kind of exasperated sound. It makes you sit on the edge of your seat because you're like, he sounds like he's about to choke to death. And I think that's happened once or twice in this show before. So they really know how to use the breath as another vocal tool in really unique and interesting ways, because you don't see that a huge amount in musical theatre shows, or at least not the ones that I've seen.
Don't do a thing. History will prove him wrong. But sir, we have a war to fight. Let's move along.
Strong words from Lee. Someone ought to hold him to it.
I can't disobey direct orders.
Then I'll do it. Alexander, you're the closest friend I've got.
Lawrence, do not throw away your shot.
Oh, it just ended right there. So I'm assuming this maybe ties in straight into another song. I mean, the whole thing's pretty much sung, but that's where this video ended. So sure, that will annoy a lot of people. Or you'll come in and save me with context. Why did that end so abruptly? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that reaction. If you did, please give it a like, a thumbs up down below. And if you want to see more from me, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and anytime I have new content, you will be the first to know. So I guess all that's left for me to say is thank you so much for joining me. And how are we going to buy this one? I don't really know, because that was very, very conversational, that song. So I'm just going to say thanks so much for joining me, and bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. 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 Bye.